And when people think about vision, they think about, I have to define the end, right? And then as if there's not a journey along the way that's called life.
The following Access Performance Quick Tip is an excerpt from James McPartland's television show Unopened Gifts, aired on HaveItTV.com.
The dash, right? The life between birth and death is really, to me, the distinction between life in the stands versus on the court. Now think about it from the perspective of a tennis match. You're watching two world-class players, and you're in the stands. Now perhaps you understand the game really well. You understand foot strike, ball strike, or where the positioning is of each player on the court. Okay, but the difference between in the stands and on the court, when somebody's firing a tennis ball at you 120 miles an hour, is the dash, is life on the court, is where things really happen. It's like a child. I mean, how long would you give the average baby to learn how to walk? Probably until. And you don't learn to ride a bicycle from a book. You don't learn to drive a car from a book. You learn from the real-time experience. It's a bit like the America's Cup, right? Recently, when that was this amazing matchup in San Francisco. What do great sailors do? They take the feedback from the wind, from the conditions, and from the results from the final day, and they adjust accordingly. They adjust the sails. Living life in the dash towards the vision that Steve had for the foundation, the things he wants to do or has done in his life, was all about adjusting based on learning life on the court, moving forward, surrounding himself with great people, not having to be right, but to get it right along the way and live life in the dash.
The way people think about vision, if you applied that to life, the vision of life would be, we're born and then we die, right? Because that is the beginning and the end. And when people think about vision, they think about, I have to define the end, right? And then as if there's not a journey along the way that's called life. And I think that's true of vision. The idea is to birth an idea. And a CEO or a leader really has one very unique capability in an organization. And that's the ability to make go decisions. Let's do this, right? That's what a CEO gets to do. That's the joy of the job. And then conversely, let's stop doing this because it's not working and do something differently, or let's adjust course a little bit. But you don't have to manage every bit of it, right? You have to experience it, be there, and as you experience it, make adjustments and incorporate the people with you into that process, and ideally let them be the one steering, if you will. But again, you go back to that metaphor of life, and you think about, when people think about vision, they often think about, okay, I need to know the end. Well, that's like saying for life, I just need to know I'm going to die. Well, we all know that, right? What we don't know is what the journey's going to be like, what enriches us. And the whole point is to experience it, right? Life's in the dash, as they say, right? So are you experiencing that journey? And to have a vision and then turn everyone loose to go execute it and then come back at the end and say, oh, look, it happened, would be incredibly unfulfilling. And so the point is to be along for the journey, to let people exercise their own spirit, passion to make it better, and continually be there to help both take in the whole experience. Because the other thing the CEO, the leader has that others don't, is perhaps the elevation to see the whole picture. To say, yep, you're right, what you're suggesting makes perfect sense in this moment, in this time, but it takes us a little bit in the wrong direction perhaps. What if we X, Y, Z, right? Or what if we do something slightly different? Oh yes, that gets to the spirit of what I'm trying to do, but moves us forward in the direction of the vision. But again, the vision to me always has to be, whether you want to call it a moving target or an evolving target. And if you think about it, the world keeps spinning, the world keeps moving. To think you could set up a vision 10 years ago, 20 years ago, or 20 years into the future, and know what the world's going to look like, and the need is going to look like, whether it's a business need or a charitable need 20 years from now, that's just giving yourself way more credit than you probably would if you really thought about it.